Hi everybody, welcome to episode 41 of Music Real Talk with Marbin from the road. Currently we're in a pimp-ass place, in the basement of this place. We're hanging out in the pool party yesterday, doing some duo shows. Very strange to me that somehow we can play jazz standards for our fans as a touring fusion band, and they're still into it. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's a lot of fun, just shredding over standards.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good life. It's a pretty good life indeed. Yeah, let's see. We had some great insight into what it means to eat edibles. We were playing with at a bunch of like hippies place that are our fans, and they gave us these lollipops, weed lollipops, and they're like, this is intense. Eat like half of it. It's 50 milligrams, and we're like, all right. And then we went to play another show, and I asked the people that were at the show, like, is 50 milligrams a lot? And there was like a lot of, like, the whole crowd was like, no.
Well, I think when people ask if weed is a lot, the only answer somebody would ever give you is like, no, it's nothing.
Yeah. So I ate a third, and Dani ate a whole pot. Well, we were walking into a hotel with lollipops in our mouths, which is pretty precious. Like licking like this candy, or checking it. It's like, hello. We're checking in. But yeah, we were basically tripping. It was an intense night. Couldn't regulate my temperature.
It was a good time, but yesterday I was basically with a hangover for 1:30.
Yeah.
I almost collapsed. I can't believe I didn't fall asleep here before the show. I tried to, and I couldn't. Well,
while we were very stoned, we did come up with the perfect idea for a kind of sitcom that our band would have, and it started off with us thinking how.
I'm giving Dani a look. I don't know if it's the best direction.
I think, but we can talk about this carefully, like, because if we just did everything the same, but we had like a female in the band instead of a male.
Instead of John.
Like, let's say John was a female bassist, and we just.
No, not now with Evie. With Blake.
But yeah, the idea was to have Blake in the band, and John be like a hot female bassist, and then just have a sitcom.
That would be hot. That's so. Yeah, it's funny because he would be sexually harassing her all the time. That's a joke. What's the joke you want to have here?
Well, I mean, I guess it would have to be like in 60s.
No, but you have to see how he harasses them. That's why it's funny.
It'll have to be like, it can't be like an HBO show. It'll have to be more like I Love Lucy. Yeah, anyway, maybe that's not the sweetest direction to take this thing. But in my mind...
It seemed like a good idea. We laughed when we thought about it high. That's what you're saying.
I'm still laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did have all the stuff to talk about, but then we forgot. It's amazing how you think about something and you're like, oh, that's gonna be perfect, and then like I would never forget this.
Well, you had a few things that were brilliant, like the meme of the difference between a jazz guitar teacher and a rock guitar teacher. Is that a jazz guitar teacher teaches three chords to 20 kids, and a rock guitar teacher teaches 3 chords to 20 kids.
I don't remember how that came up. I was high, obviously, but yeah, I had a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we need to get talking about music. What are you working on?
They really don't know what I'm working on.
Well, it's kind of interesting. You're doing that tonguing thing.
Well,
I mean, it's weird how like all the, like saxophone and guitar are similar in a way with the whole tonguing picking thing.
Well, the tonguing is just so much more limited.
Yeah, but like it's weird. Like gypsy picking is limited in a very similar kind of way because you have like that huge constraint that you have to start with the same motion whenever you're crossing
the
strings.
physicality of doing stuff with your tongue is very bad.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a good, and especially on reed instruments. So on brass instruments, you can kind of get around it, but with reed instruments, it's not very good. But it is. The amazing thing about it is how I wouldn't have thought about it, because again, my single tonguing was really better than anybody that I met, and also from people that we know from recordings, I would say.
Yeah, for the people who don't understand what we're talking about, tonguing, it's kind of like
it's when you stop airflow with your tongue when you're playing an instrument. So if you go so
for string instruments, it would be like the equivalent of picking versus playing legato, right?
Yeah. So he's talking about doing you stop the air just before each note starts. So it goes instead of ha ha ha, you go ta da da. Instead of ha 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 ha.
Right.
And I heard this American German guy named Woody Wydorf,
I think.
Wydorf,
yeah.
yeah, and he just did it in a different way, but it's much better the way I did it. So I'm just learning how to do it that way, and then it opens up more possibilities for me. But it's insane because I would have never thought about it if I didn't hear him do it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's true for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Of musical stuff that I never would have thought about. You know, I take it to different places maybe now, but I wouldn't have had the initial idea that it's possible.
You would have never heard of this guy. I mean, that's the craziest.
I always look for saxophone players. It's very hard for me to miss
Isn't
somebody.
it amazing, though, that new players keep emerging that have been dead for like 60, 70 years that come up with something cool?
Oh, he's been dead for, something like that, 70 years probably.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. Because he died he was, I don't know when he was
I wonder
born,
if the trick that we...
Before Parker for sure, and he was...
Yeah, this is like a guy who was
alcoholic,
famous in the 20s, 30s.
Like super famous.
Yeah.
For a saxophone player.
And now he has 900 monthly listeners on Spotify.
Yeah.
He's really doing poorly. The estate must be freaking out. The Rudy Wydorf.
Well, they just deleted him. Because you heard the music, even though some of the music is great.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's very strange. It's like American songbooky, but no solos.
Not jazz at all. It really sounds more like jazz
like
light / classical
maybe, like
music.
The stuff that they had in, sometimes in Boardwalk Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy that would sing the songs.
Right.
So
like
some of the
vaudeville.
so some of the songs were jazz standards eventually.
But it's sort of like cabaret vibe, like you would imagine people in suits, kind of more like a classical small band with a violin virtuoso. They were really going for
but
that.
It's really cool. Like some of the music is good. Like some of the songs I really liked.
Yeah, the valse
and
was really good.
Interesting. Yeah, not just that, but the other one that I was afterwards was also really good. It's just interesting kind of sound melodies.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I liked it. But yeah, I'm saying with all. Just like before Parker, nobody thought about playing this fast.
Yeah.
Basically.
I wonder if the thing that we talked about yesterday, because in gypsy jazz, this is something that a lot of people with the faster types of playing don't understand about the picking. But there is legato in it. They just tuck it in. So since the music, a lot of it's triplets, a lot of the fast lines, especially, you're playing a fast song like All of Me, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Your eighth notes are here, like if this is 1, 2, 3, and so your eighth notes are da 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 da, and they're the triplets are da 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 da. So to play those triplets at that tempo, you still pick everything.
Yeah, but that's not the tempo we play.
Yeah, but when it gets faster, a lot of times for a lot of licks, your right hand is just playing swung eighth notes like down, up, down, but it's like down, up, down, up, down, up, down, da 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 da, and then you tuck that third triplet with your left hand as legato inside. So your right hand is going da 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 da, but your left hand is going and then that triplet in the middle is just getting hammered on or pulled off, but it's tucked inside this physical pattern that you're in with your right hand. It's really easy to lock in with the groove and do that. That's the thing. The pattern doesn't flip.
Yeah, it's repeated. Yeah,
It's very repetitive on your right hand, so you're just going da 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 da, and it's almost like when you listen to the song, that's how you play a ride cymbal or something, right? That's how your right hand wants to ride it.
When
Anyway.
you do sextuplet in fusion, though, let's say on a song like Radio School Redline, do you do the same picking pattern?
No, not at all. And that's really
Why not? Because it should work.
because it sounds really square to put the accents on the beats. You know what I mean? You could. It sounds fine for some licks,
You
but
wouldn't. Wait, so you wouldn't even do that?
when I'm playing when I'm playing Redline, right? There's that lick in the melody, right? That thing. So bam bam ba da da dum ba da 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 ba da dum bam da ba da 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 da. So the way that pattern is, it's ta. I'm picking out of the 6. I'm picking 1 and 2. Ta ti ha pa ha ha. So 1, 2 are picked, 3 is pulled off, and then 4 is picked, and the rest are pulled off. So it's like ta 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 ta. That's the picking. Ta 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 ta. But the left hand is going ta 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 ta, and then there's an accent underneath it that's going ta 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 ta. But that's just kind of like drumming in fusion. You wouldn't. If you're playing sextuplets, you wouldn't go or it just sounds like metal, you know.
I feel like you would, but you can do. It seems like something you need to have variations with.
Listen to like even Dennis Chambers. They don't play complicated things, but they decorate it interestingly. Like a thing they do a lot is like 1, 2, 3, like an accent on 1 and on 6, like. Right. But again, if you do it really strong rhythmically, you get that. It's all about getting that second layer of accent inside your phrases. When you're listening to Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, you know, people like that, that's really, if you want to like, if you maybe
that would make more sense.
Right. Well, again, for swing, for music before bebop, it makes sense to ride the beats really hard because the backing, too, is like, you know, really on the quarter note. But then when they started playing more syncopated, that second layer of articulation underneath the lines is a huge part of the style. Like, you know, bebop, yeah, like... It's like, it's inside your eighth notes. You're always kind of using accents to make certain things pop out of the music, and a lot on offbeats. And I think fusion is really, when I look at our band, there's nothing more similar to us in approach than bebop.
Yeah.
And you know, we've been saying that for years, and I think it's and people that really listen to jazz will understand why, because. And again, that's not totally fair to say, because our open songs do open up. Like if we were listening to like Israeli jazz or something, then it's more of a Coltrane concept than a Charlie Parker concept.
Yeah.
But still, there is a thing inside our music which is you got to stay in your lane.
Yeah,
you know?
It's also the lines are kind of a point, and if you look at even Coltrane, it's kind of like the sound, and this is the way it goes. Like we don't really go to the same type of climax.
Yeah. It's so weird. Yesterday we were in the van, we were listening to Joe Zawinul interviews, and boy, oh boy, did that guy get it wrong. I mean, the future. He was, I could see what he was trying to say in not so many words. He was talking about Duke Ellington, and he was trying to make the case that the thing that makes Duke Ellington great...
He's understanding the tempo, like understanding the tone of everybody. And then he would write specifically for Johnny Hodges' tone and Williams.
Well, beyond, I think the case, it connects to like the Zawinulian kind of worldview, which is sound is everything, man, and you need...
And it's almost everything.
Well, I mean, I think he looked at Duke Ellington and made the case that he used people in orchestration and the big band and really the orchestra as the pool of sound, while Joe Zawinul transcends that with technology.
Yeah, the idea was that you could have much more control of it than Duke did.
Yeah, and he said Duke would have been the master of basically like, of what he was trying to do. And God, could you imagine if Joe Zawinul...
You just know it, in the, just the way it is now, because it doesn't matter how much you want to sit on your MIDI keyboard, you're not going to have Johnny Hodges.
Oh, no.
So it's like you have when you write jazz, especially jazz, but anything with music, it's good to relinquish control. And we know a lot of people, Ben.
Yeah.
Is one
Most
of them.
singer-songwriters can't give up any control.
They would rather play shittily, like their own instruments, like not instruments, like their
different instruments they can't play.
Can't play, like do a bad drum beat with no kick, and then play sloppy piano or whatever, and they try to do all that stuff instead of getting people that are not them to put stuff on their music.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's just it's not as good.
I mean, again, I think for Joe Zawinul's music, which I'm honestly not a big fan of, but I can see the value in it. It works. Yeah, the grooves are great all the time. To me, it's weird because he thinks about it like classical pieces or something like that's just kind of objectively up there. And to me, it sounds really jammy and psychedelic.
It is very jammy and psychedelic.
Yeah. But that's inevitable with going for the sound. I do like the
tones that he's getting, though. That's the difference. I hate MIDI.
For a keyboard, I mean, he went out and he sampled everything himself, and he had infinite budget, lived in Malibu in a mansion. It's just like... But
even with infinite budget, it's like, how can you compare it probably to the MIDI we have now? But it's just the best studios, and we got really good musicians and investors.
Well, the real difference is that you can compare it, and I think he wins because now they make things that sound like things. You have people who are basically non-musicians and nerds trying to make.
That's a violin.
That's a perfect cello. And it's really to substitute. It's really just to automate and replace musicians. That's the reason they're making it. They're making it so. Yeah, they're making it so.
Every TV show and movie, they can
film scorer. Press a key. It
everything.
sounds like a string section. Joe Zawinul was out there looking for sounds that work in the context of his music and sampling them himself.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
He made it like weird sounds.
Yeah, and like
you don't understand what it is.
There was a judgment value in the assembly of the sounds that was, and when you make that judgment value, you can't escape the biases of the person sampling. So if you're trying to create a tool for basically for a guy sitting in LA in a 2-bedroom apartment trying to be the next Danny Elfman.
The problem is that if you have a fucked up violin sound,
that's
you can even, let's say, take it through a distortion and then bounce off a metal sheet or whatever, and mix with a coffee grinder, something like really fucked up, and you can't even tell it's violin. It has its own sound. It can be good and can be bad, but if you just have a sound that sounds like violin and you're playing keyboard, it sounds idiotic.
Yeah.
It's like...
Well, I mean, I think that's even listening to tribal tech. Like, I totally feel like Kinsey was not that kind of like he was very influenced by Zawinul. That's clear, but he just wasn't that mountainous kind of personality. Like if you're going to open up a can of worm the size of timbre. You know what I mean? Then you need to orient yourself very, very carefully and very clearly because you're really going through chaos all the time.
And also, most musicians don't really want to do that. That's another thing. It's like you don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. We don't just fuck up with our gear all the time.
No.
We try to get gear that we don't think about too much so we can play.
Yeah, Alan was that kind of guy too. Alan really thought about sound from scratch.
Yeah, all the time. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a never-ending thing.
I remember when we were talking to him, he kept saying that the guitar cab is the worst invention, and like why are we still having a speaker inside a wooden box that's directional and nobody wants to listen to the center of it? And he had the idea that and he said he built a prototype, but nobody wanted to use it because it looked funny. And the idea was that the speaker would be on its back, pointed to the ceiling, inside kind of a metal circle with a tin roof on it that's triangular and circular, like with a tip, but it's kind of like shaped like an umbrella, and then the sound would get deflected from the top and spread evenly from the sides, and you could mic it like 360 around that circle and get the same guitar tone that's pleasant everywhere without that very directional center, like the center of the cone. Because really, when you're miking a guitar amp, if you're going to put a mic at the center of the cone, you're going to EQ a little bit. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You know, it's going to be too bright. So there's no doubt about that. So yeah, I mean, I think we all go through phases where we're deconstructing things to that level, to where you're re-examining, like you're really listening to the attack you're getting from the string, or, you know, with guitar it's like a pedal or a delay. It's not constant, and we don't really go out fishing for brand new sounds the way Zawinul did. But again, I think he would be appalled at what people who don't have the training, because at the end of the day, Zawinul might not be, you know, the greatest bebop player there ever was. He certainly could play some bebop. I mean, no, he could. I mean, the early stuff he's soloing. He didn't go that direction. I'm saying compared to keyboard players now.
Okay, I'm just saying that it's not a clout I would give Zawinul as a people player.
No, I'm not giving him that clout. I'm saying he could probably hang and do something. He would make it through the songs, right?
All right.
No?
You can making it. Okay, what's the point, though?
The point is that if he saw the generation of players that went that direction of timbre, but with zero of the skills that he had of like understanding harmony, of playing lines, and just like see that, because really the thing he gave birth to is EDM, you know, and that kind of approach of like, because you know he was getting stoned listening to the sound, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it's EDM, but yeah.
Electronic stuff, electronic composers, like.
Did that come from him?
I would
hope. Me to imagine.
Of course.
Anybody that does EDM knows what Joe Zawinul.
I'm not sure if they know, but I mean that was the first attempt at like, you know, going that direction of keyboard driven, just sound exploration, whoever messing with the envelopes.
Was the first guy that came with a
It's the unintended consequence.
Why would you ever stop playing the kick on the floor? Do you know what I mean? Like where kick.
I mean, it's funny. That's in a way that's a return to jazz, because they had four on the floor and everything in the 30s.
Yeah, not that four on the floor.
No, different one. Different one.
But so you know, whoever thought about that is really very innovative.
Yeah,
it's more that than anything else.
I mean, that's probably true.
With Zawinul, I just again the thing of playing bebop, it's not. It's fine when you can do it, but to me it's not a mark of anything. It's just that people that play bebop didn't play anything else either.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not making the point of you should hear him play bebop like people say about Bill Frisell, about people who clearly can't play bebop. I'm just saying that there is, especially for those 70s era musician, I feel like they took for granted that people will come up comping and soloing. That they thought the next generation for sure will learn how to solo and how to play inside and outside and whatever. So we just add this thing.
The way it seems to work is that a lot of people make innovations where sometimes the music is more simplistic than what came before them, but the influence by the music we grew up with. If you look at the Beatles, right, it's much simpler than jazz, for example.
Right.
Or classical music, but we're influenced by it. So we have a lot of stuff there. So the harmonies are still interesting, and the stuff that's going on in the arrangements are still interesting, and melodically it's interesting, rhythmically it's interesting. So
and they did go that direction of color over everything, you know, of stacked arrangement.
But I'm saying musically there's still a lot there. But if you look at the bands now that influenced by Beatles, it's like they're not influenced by the stuff that Beatles were influenced by.
Yeah,
so
you
like
keep building
Dr. Dog, for example. It's so much more simplistic than Beatles.
Right, because the songs are basically the same level of complexity, but they've stripped away all the fancy harmonies and all the arrangement tricks and all the fancy, like, you know, harmonic tools.
Don't learn. Like if you learn a few songs, if you learn La Vie en Rose and you learn few jazz songs, then you'll know a little bit more about harmony just because you have some tools that you can use. Like with Ben even, that he can use diminished chords now.
Yeah.
Right, and it changes a lot in the stuff that you can play.
Well, the stuff you listen to informs your sort of subconscious aesthetic. 'Cause, I think for a lot of rock players, like a big part of the exploration on the fretboard, like for me, I'm never looking for a new chord. There's no such thing as a new chord. I have a name. My system is complete. Any combination of notes, even if it's totally random, I could see it maybe as fragments from a mode, right? Even if something doesn't have a chord name, if I know what's in the bass and I know what intervals exist inside the structure, I can kind of quickly scan through all the modes and tell you what it's from. Or if it doesn't belong, to me, I can put it in the pile of things that don't belong.
No, see, that's a good example, because you wouldn't do, like, I can name stuff that you just wouldn't do because of the system that you're using.
Of course.
Right? So it's the same for them, but for them, for you, it would be like you wouldn't do B in the bass and then B flat, C, C sharp, F sharp, F. That's nothing. You're not gonna do it.
No, that's outside of my realm of order.
Yeah, but for them, what's outside is diminished chords, half diminished chords.
I know.
Secondary dominants now for a lot of people are kind of outside.
It's exactly that.
So a lot of stuff like that, like we're not gonna go from C to A flat. I don't know. But like we just won't do a lot of stuff that if you know that you don't have to be a classical musician, you don't have to be a jazz musician. You just have to know some jazz song and some classical music.
Well, I mean,
in order to use that. That's what I'm saying.
The thing that messes with me, it's like when I see a singer-songwriter that's like just keeps writing, like, let's say really diatonic, like a Taylor Swift song, like G, A minor, B minor, G.
C minor is
like
very crazy thing. Like we're going like C, E minor, like.
Right. It's like, what do they think happens when they hear like a Paul Simon song?
We don't think.
They just don't think about it that way.
Nah.
But yeah, I don't know.
You analyze the music with the tools you have. So the way you analyze music, the way I analyze music is related to the way I see music. But I know for a fact that's not the way they see it. Some people that I analyze, so they wouldn't. If they analyze their own music, we wouldn't use the tools that I'm using to analyze their music. That's what I'm saying.
It's weird. Whenever I put myself in the position of like a folk singer or a singer-songwriter and like try to think about what they think about, then I start thinking about how I would get better and then eventually just make my way back into a fusion musician. It's kind of like when I think about a homeless person and I'm like, if I lived his life, like first of all I'd get like a mailbox. Then I'd get
shower in the lake,
exactly. Find a way to cut my beard. Apply for a job. Then I'm not homeless in my mind anymore.
Yeah, it's a Louis C.K. joke. But it's just I'm saying about that stuff. It's you don't, and it relates to what I said about the guy that I found with the word of that. It's easier when you have people showing you what's possible.
Yeah.
And it's like we may take it for granted when it's with famous people, but it's not like you started. Just to know that what somebody can do on guitar makes a big difference.
Oh yeah.
Like look at you before the Gypsy Jazz. Like you would have never gotten anywhere next to it if you didn't have somebody that already did it.
Of course not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also I don't know if you would think it's even possible to pick that way unless somebody already picked that way.
I wouldn't. I remember a lot of times actually looking at the way they pick before I got the technique together and being like, that's at many intersections in my life actually. When the system was laid out clearly before me, there was always a period where I was like, there's no way anybody can think like that.
Yeah.
And you're always proven wrong, because it seems...
Not always, but yeah, most times.
Yeah, most times. Because it seems like when somebody tells you, like after you've gotten comfortable soloing with a pentatonic scale on music, as if you're like just
like
a surfer riding,
different.
like the whole chorus is like one big wave and you're just riding it from on top, not within. And then you're like, every chord has its own mode and you have to be You have to somehow find the notes that fit and make melodies, and it's all happening in time, and the chords are changing fast.
And it's not even all of it, because we have to find ways to go to notes that are outside of.
And then in most jam sessions, other people won't know the same things, so you're gonna have to just ride your own confidence through the song. And in the beginning, it just seems like no, but that's a lie. You know, that's I heard that on Alex Jones. That's not. It's a conspiracy about jazz. But then you do it enough, and it's just things fall into place. But you gotta ride it through that learning curve, and it's very tough. I mean, it's tough to keep the faith together. But then,
like, would I practice technique so much if I didn't know for a fact that it's possible?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then once you learn enough stuff, you start finding your own ways of doing things, right? It's your creativity where you can take it afterwards. But again, I don't. It's like I have no doubt in my mind I would be a completely different player if you take any of the people that I like and take them out of the equation.
Right.
Just because they already found out so many things that maybe I would have found out some of them on my own.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Well, yeah.
It would be a career, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like we say that often, that learning music is like taking a trip on foot, but like to Argentina. You gotta just walk a long way and not get lost, and it's very tough, because there's a lot of things that will send you in the right direction. So if you get a postcard from a guy and it's like, hey, I'm in Argentina, it's great.
But that's I also listen to people all the time, because to me the thing that I'm working on now, it's like something that really bothered me and in my past playing and bothers me all the time. It's like I always try to work around it, right? And now that I'm working on it and I see that, and I'm doing it, it's just, to me it's a big difference. I know maybe for other people it's not such a big difference, but to me it's the thing that bothers me most about my playing. I hate a lot of people, I would say, rhythmically, like they have those things that they do really well. But even Breaker, which you at the best time on saxophone probably.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And he doesn't do a lot of things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he has his things that he does, but a lot of things he just doesn't do.
Yeah.
So if you like a lot of subdivisions, and I don't, that's not my style of playing. So I have to have those things.
Right.
It's like it won't work if I'll do what he does. So, so to me it's like I have to, like, ignoring those subdivisions. It's not a possibility for me as far as I'm concerned. So it's like I was trying to work around it all the time, and I think I did in some ways, but definitely opens a lot of options for me now to do that. And that's another thing, but what people don't get, I don't know if it's on guitar. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it is on guitar. Maybe you can, tapping is just not a good example, so you can maybe give it a better example. But the extended techniques that people do, like, it doesn't have to be like crazy techniques. I'm not even talking about like what I'm doing now with a flutter. I'm talking about like altissimo, right? It's like, it's extended technique, but everybody does it, and a ton of it.
I just want to know if there are guitar players who are still excited by tapping. Like, if there's anybody who, like, somebody starts tapping and they're like, the audience, not the guitarists, like, they're like, oh, yes, tapping, sounds great, man. It looks so impressive. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't get it anymore. I honestly don't get it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I don't know if tapping is the right thing, because altissimo, definitely, at least saxophone players, I don't know how it sounds to you. I know you don't like it.
I don't like it when it pops out of the music, where it's like a feature of the solo, like, or everything's building to it.
But the problem is that even the guy that sounded good, so to me that's an issue. So the problem with that stuff is, well, it sticks out. So if you listen to a solo and somebody goes like super high on saxophone, altissimo, and let's say makes it sound good, but it pops out, and then other saxophone players hear it, they're like, oh my god, that's the best. But it's basically like if you're married and you're an asshole all year long, but you make a huge party for your wife on her birthday and put it on Facebook. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody is like, oh, that's how you are a great husband. You just be an asshole all day long, all year long, and then just once a year you play a high note.
Yeah.
And it's just it.
Oh shit! Oh, sorry.
1 second. All right, can we? We're gonna keep going. All right, so. To me, that's the equivalent. It's like, it pops out and everybody knows it's because it's on Facebook, like very high note. But it can't be all your solo. And to me, the guy that we heard, I forgot his name.
Bartley?
No.
Who?
The other guy.
Oh.
We played Michel Camilo.
Yeah.
Aaron something maybe?
No. Fuck. Anyway,
Anyway,
New York
Camilo
guy.
Michel Camilo
Yeah, I
guy.
played with
So,
Michel Camilo.
you know, so his solos, you know, we heard the first one, it's like, oh my god, this guy sounds like famous. This guy's
Yeah.
great. But all of his solos are the same solo.
Yeah, he plays with Manhattan Transfer. That's his gig.
Okay, yeah, but whatever it is, it's like it sounds. Oh, really? So I probably heard him live.
Yeah.
I'm saying all of the solos are the same because everything has to go to that high note,
Screechy,
high
screamy, but
notes.
nice.
And also,
like,
yeah, but still, you know, those high notes that you play on. They have with alto, you have more play with it than with tenor.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like we're talking about like 4 notes that have the same timbre.
Right.
You know, maybe. Right, because it's like if I go to sorry for the notes, but if I go to my IB, on alto it sounds like something, but on tenor it's not high. It's not that high, so you have to go above it. So it's like I'm saying, all your solos are kind of the same.
That's how I feel about. I mean, again, he does it well. It's a type of player, and it's a problem. Like, I love Derek Trucks, but I went to see Tedeschi Trucks live, and again, if you're stoned and in the moment, I'm sure, and you're just a lover of the music, I'm sure you don't care. But for me, as a lover of guitar solos, you know, and having that perspective, it was really bothersome that every song, you know, had the same kind of build to where, you know, the whole band was just kind of growing and then getting to a climax, and the climax, and really it was almost like a game of playing like kind of loose and out of time, sweet slide licks in the beginning, but just to get to that root note, like in the extended range of the guitar with the slide, just like building towards it, and the climax always getting to that root of the key with the whole band slamming at the highest place it exists on the guitar. And I don't know, man, it's like, you know, the people who are pattern oriented that can just see,
which is every human being, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people, again, you can be more in the details and less in the big picture, and really enjoy it. All the sounds are great. The phrases, it's blues licks, you know, they're all, and really, you know, he makes it sound like a woman singing. All the stuff that people say about him is true. He's amazing. I think he's amazing. And I think one solo, he can really drive it home harder than probably and maybe anybody. But when you're listening to 8 solos, they're so similar to that one solo. Like everything rhythmically and everything structurally about the solo is very similar. And also there's not a huge variability rhythmically inside the phrases from groove to groove. You know, like our playing, there's just a lot going on, and Brecker's playing, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of compartments in the music. So again, you know, if you're, my problem is that I just don't have, it's just not my drug of choice. It doesn't fill me up in the same way. Like I can take, like those kind of players, that saxophone player too, when the whole structure of the solo, the architecture of the solo is very repetitive and predictable, it loses me a little bit. Doesn't matter what's in it, you know, because those solos are perfect. Like in a way, they have like great fast lines, great like outside stuff,
well,
but then they always end up in the same place.
The song doesn't matter anymore. That's what it also feels like.
Yeah.
And my idea is the opposite. I think the song matters the most. But sometimes, you know, it's more of an effect of a lot of solos, I would guess. Like sometimes I have solos that I really like, but it's like I'm saying, it's not even about that.
Yeah. Really,
it's about the songs and how you play on the song.
Yeah.
But the point really, to me, is that you want to practice on stuff that's within 90% of the playing. Like that's the way you get better. What I'm excited about what I'm doing now, because it's like the way you get better is you figure out the basic shit on your instrument.
Yeah.
And in some ways, what I'm doing is not basic at all, because I can't even name a saxophone player that does it. But it's like the point is, it's the basic playing. Right?
Yeah, you're working
like
on the sound production, on the things that make the notes.
On the sound production and to make the subdivision sound tighter. Because that's really what it is, right? That's the thing. One reason why I tank so much is because I like to make because it makes my my playing tight, and it's also with our type of music. That's another thing, that it's very unforgiving compared to even what Breaker plays on.
Yeah.
It's like our drummer subdivides a lot, you subdivide a lot, so it's like they can get away with playing
less tight.
accurate, and it would sound more tight than
Yeah.
what I'm playing. Like I have to be so on it in order for it not to sound out, like out of time.
There's a really weird thing. I noticed this. I noticed a lot of things with students, but I noticed this too, which is what it takes for somebody to make a physical change to the way they do something with their body. Like hold the pick is a good example. Place their left hand. Work, like sit down on the ground. Like I had a really big moment when I understood something about sitting down while playing, just because I was thinking about my posture and how it's impossible for me to sit straight for over like 2 minutes using my core alone. It's like even if I start thinking about it, I straighten up and I stretch my shoulders back for just a second.
Like your hips back, and then it's like how long
and
you stay
then
like
I can't do it because all the weight I'm supporting just with the stomach
also with
muscles.
that are not used to it.
Right, but I'm saying, and then I sat down. I was like, what if I like put some of that weight on my legs, like, and then you have to have a chair that's the right height for you,
Specifically the right height. Yes,
specifically right. So you have to find an angle where you're distributing, and then you're thinking about how much weight goes in your heels and toes, and then it becomes kind of easier to sit. But I'm saying things like that you think are built in, like you think that it's wisdom that's built into your body. And it isn't. You need to think about that stuff. And you see people sitting cross-legged to where you're basically in some sort of like, hip stretch for the whole show with your back all crooked. And then you think that things are just your fingers are going to just move ergonomically in that kind of situation. I mean, you're making the situation really bad, like to where success is unlikely. And these kind of bad habits are basically everywhere. It's more common than not because people that get themselves to a good place have to spend conscious time thinking about all the details and the minutia. So it's very hard to get somebody in the mindset of making physical changes, is what I'm trying to say. But then sometimes you see I'm not going to name names in this specific example, but somebody we know, all of a sudden, after like playing 20 years, changed his right hand technique to imitate Josh Meter, the Instagram shredder guy who never made an album. This guy made albums, and I all of a sudden saw a video of him, and that Josh Meter guy has a very distinctly, he does a thing that not a lot of people do, which is kind of a crazy idea, very ergonomic in one way. But you know what? Did I tell you what he does?
Yeah, but you can go for people that listen.
Well, okay, so the way he picks is he leaves whatever phrase he's playing, he leaves the last note per string to be legato, to where he gives himself like an extra like subdivision, whether it's a 16th note sextuplet, to jump to the next string and be able to pick that. But that just means that you work your entire technique based on the arbitrary distribution of notes per string rather than the phrases.
But see, that's also what I was saying about when you were talking about where to pick or where to tongue on in the phrase. To me, it's more like you want to have options, because if it sounds different, then there is usually a way to use it.
And I'm sure you can like reorchestrate licks to be more notes on this string as opposed to that string, but it really would require you to rearrange things in a physically totally different way. It's much better to have a lot of options and actually have a technique that doesn't look quite as nice, but allows you to sound.
The reason why you pick in a certain way is because the way it sounds, not because the way it feels. It obviously has to do also with that, because you have to do something that is sustainable. Means like you can play with subdivisions, you can play, and you can play it for a whole show. Yeah. So a lot of people, what we do stuff like if it gives you tinnitus, it's not sustainable. I don't care how it sounds.
Yeah. Right? Well, I mean, but I do feel like that's like when you seeing that like on the subject of like taking a foot journey to Argentina. This guy just got like a fucking postcard from Syria. Well, it's like I'm going here now.
Yeah, we're talking about the other guy.
Yeah, because
Josh Mina was saying, well, it's like it's working for him, and he does, the question is always going to take it musically. It's like nobody cares about how he picks. Like people now
But
care
people
because
do.
of Instagram.
People
but
do.
Then I wouldn't care.
Look at the top. Isn't it interesting that the top two Instagram guitarists, him and that Italian kid, have a totally what's his name?
Matteo.
Mario Pizzo.
Matteo Mancuso, maybe?
Matteo Mancuso, yeah. But he was, he also has a distinct right hand technique.
For him, I could tell it's crazy.
Yeah,
You
that
know what I
looks
mean?
crazy. It is crazy. I mean, again,
It's like a bassist.
he's a bassist. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and he also plays the same lines bassists play because that's how you play with two fingers. It's he's a bassist on guitar.
Which is the other way around. It's so crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, it made sense that at some point somebody would do it. But anyway, isn't it weird that they both have a very, like, the things they have in common? No album out, tons of viral videos, and a very distinct right-hand technique that everybody could see as visually different.
Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah.
It's so amazing.
And also, again, with Matteo guy, I don't like talking shit about people like that just because
He's a kid. He'll do.
So-
I think he might do some great shit.
But he might not, but he didn't yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I follow him. I would say to me it's good enough that I check out his stuff when it comes out. But
Yeah.
there is nothing that he did that I like. I would say that.
Yeah.
But I do check it out when it comes out. So,
It's
there are a lot of people like that. That's another thing, by the way, that we were talking about. I was talking about with Rudy Waldorf. I always check out. It's really,
we listen to everybody.
Yeah, it will be really hard for you guys to find a saxophone player that I don't know.
Or a guitar player you don't know.
Every time
We just checked out Ed Bickert because I saw something that sounded good on like.
If somebody sounds half good.
Yeah, somebody was like, "This guy sounds like a horn player," and posted the video. I was like, "Hi, it does sound good." And then we put out his records.
Album.
Yeah,
And it
terrible.
didn't sound good.
It was terrible.
But I always do once in a while. I will be like, "Hey, I'm looking for like saxophone players, blah 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 blah," and people write me like 1,000, and that's kind of everybody.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
Occasionally, a new one pops up. I remember when Bostic came on the scene.
That's not how I found out.
Yeah.
It's just again because I actively look.
Yeah, there's another trend we started seeing. So we had this idea with the Gypsy Jazz album, which we were going to do. I think we're going to be like the first band of note to do this. You see, we're always looking for the back door. And the problem that happened right now is that the back door and the front door got switched. Facebook used to be the back door. It was actually, in 2017, it was taboo to advertise your band on Facebook to boost a music video. It's like, why are you putting...
2016.
Yeah. Which now literally everybody does.
Yeah.
And now it
but
stopped
back when
working.
it was like, what are you buying your fame? That's how
Yeah.
people looked at it. And then you'd be like, well, Coca-Cola do it? It's like,
Yeah.
what's the difference? It's like
Right.
we're advertising, hey, check it out. It's like, you like it, don't like it, you don't like it.
Right. But now it became the front door. And now the problem with front doors is that front doors are expensive.
Well,
and don't
it's not
work
just
if you...
expensive, I told you. But to me, the main issue with Facebook right now is that the way they got everybody was, and especially people like us, it was, hey, we're going to give you a platform to reach all those people, and once you get them to like your page,
They're yours.
they're yours.
You can show them things.
Yeah, and what happened with us is just that we can't show them anything.
Yeah.
Facebook came, and it was Facebook, YouTube, same thing. Again, we did Audio 3, 600,000 subscribers. We got maybe 4,000, 5,000 plays on our videos there. Most videos will get 100.
Yeah.
We have 600,000 people that pressed subscribe, and most videos would get
They don't get a
100
click.
plays. It's
Yeah.
like, it's insane numbers. So it's something about
I mean,
the
again, it
Facebook.
could be a few things. It could be that at this point people are subscribed to so many things
Yeah,
too.
of course, because they keep getting subscribed to more and more things.
And then they don't get notifications because even in the bubble you've created for yourself is getting so big.
Yeah, but we know specifically on Facebook that even if I want to advertise to the people that like Marbin, I can't reach anybody.
No.
So it's not like even a money thing.
Yeah,
It's
and
just-
it didn't used to be like that.
Yeah, it used to, well, it used to be like anything we do would get to 20,000 people immediately, and then it's like now you can have 1,000 comments. We just had a post with 1,000 comments, and I think it showed it to like 4,000 people. So it's just they really are trying to hold you back now. When it's not because of us. It's not because they hate Fusion. It's because we're probably Ben Shapiro or something, you know, or
Yeah.
like whatever. We want to make sure that we don't, some of us online people don't get, you know, we control that kind of stuff, political speech, because we do ask you on your page when you verify it. But it's just, I think we're just a casualty of war Facebook has with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sucks for us. But what was nice saying that we were looking for different ways to do things.
Yeah, so we're doing the backdoor now became like Relics magazine and Downbeat, and we're gonna do some run
because
some
nobody
ads.
advertises anymore. We talk to
They all went to
companies
Facebook.
Because we talked to all the gear companies that we're endorsed by, and we're like,
Yeah, we stopped doing
are
it.
you guys advertising them? And it's like, nah, not anymore.
Yeah, they stopped doing all that shit. So now that's the backdoor, basically the traditional establishment media stuff of music.
So we didn't do it yet, but we're going to.
But
so
the other thing, we had an idea. I'm not going to get into specifics of how to push our Gypsy Jazz album to actual. Yeah.
It's a secret.
Yeah, it's a secret. But anyways, every time we go to a cafe now, we talk to the people there and we're like, hey, how are you playing music? And they're like, oh, we're just using Spotify. And it's like, you're using your personal Spotify. And they're like, yeah, there's no Spotify for business. And it's like, so you mean to tell me every restaurant I go to is pirating music? Like sometimes you hear the commercials.
You're not allowed. No, but even if we're paying, it doesn't matter. You're not allowed to play. It's not like you could buy CD and like a Madonna CD
and play it in your restaurant. No, it's not allowed.
You can't. ASCAP will come and give you like
$200,000. But they won't now.
So why wouldn't
why did they stop? Where's ASCAP? Where's ASCAP to fight the streaming thing? Pandora and Spotify is what you hear all the time. Oh, we just use Spotify.
Pandora might have something, but Spotify doesn't. So it's like, I'm wondering how come. It's like we can go to every business and give them like $100,000-$200,000. So
you can shut them down.
We obviously are all in bed together. You know what I mean? We obviously there is something there that it's completely fucked up.
We were in St. Louis, and the lady there was like, "What do you want?" She like, people sometimes ask you like, "What kind of music do you want before your show?" Like when people are arriving,
Marbin,
and we're like, "Yeah, Marbin. Like we make the best music. Play our music." And then she's like, "No problem." And I was thinking like, and she just like opened her own Spotify
and put Marbin on Spotify. It's great.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we've just reached
how
like.
How funny it is when we hear the stuff and they're like, "Oh, that's a good song."
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, I haven't heard that in forever because we have so much music already."
Yeah. But dude, how fucked up is that? Like nobody, like we went from a place where people were bitching about piracy, about burning CDs, but somebody still had to buy a CD for you to like burn it, you know? And even with download, somebody bought it to upload it. But now it's like, it's all streaming and they're all pirating and nobody's fighting it. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, because again, we'll probably have stocks in Spotify. It's like, I can, or something going on there. There is no way. The
idea that one stream can serve, like that, the 0.0001 cent that you're getting for the stream is serving 200 people now.
Yeah, that's the entire point, because you're supposed to get paid 200 streams for that sum.
Exactly.
You know, that's the exact point of it, or like at least like.
I mean, it's so illegal. It's such theft. It's just crazy.
It's crazy that it's going on. Yeah, and nobody does anything about it because the people who are supposed to do something about it obviously are in bed with those people.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how much those things worth. That's why I never join, and I will never join those people because fuck them. It's just, those people are terrible.
Yeah.
They're the worst thing.
It's the only game in town now, though. That's the funny thing.
No, I'm talking about ASCAP.
Oh yeah,
dude. Spotify do what Spotify do. They decided we're gonna give everybody's music away for free, and it worked for them. Right? So it's like I can't stand them. I can't stand the model. I don't like this entire venture capital thing that they give him money just because they are scalable. It's like I don't like all that stuff. But it's like okay, at least they're doing their job of being douchebags.
Yeah.
But ASCAP, why is there even ASCAP? The only reason to have them is to crack down on copyright infringements.
Right.
Right. So it's like what are you doing?
Can you start ratting out places? Just go. It's like, excuse me, what?
It's not gonna work.
Yeah, I know.
because every place is like that. That's why I was telling you that every place is like that. That's why I started asking people because you just see it.
But we saw venues that literally shut down because they had cover bands. Like a guy walked in and sang like "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right"
on guitar,
in the middle
of Iowa.
This is in Shenandoah, Iowa. They had an undercover. You know how they do it? They don't even hand you the ticket. They go there with a tape recorder.
They would kill you.
Yeah, you'd get killed, of course. So they go there with a little tape recorder. They record the guy copyright infringing to where they have proof, and then you get in the mail $20,000.
Place in Richmond, Washington too.
$20,000 fine for a cover song.
Sometimes no, depends on how many people are there and on the size.
Right. So this is what, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago?
Yeah, maybe 8.
8 years ago. And we went from venues having to shut down, pay $20,000 for one cover of a Bob Dylan in front of 10 people.
We wrote a song named after his place called The Depot. This guy was awesome. He had like an army of biodiesel.
Made his own biodiesel.
Made his own biodiesel and converted his own vehicles to biodiesel. And he had a restaurant. He said the only reason he has a restaurant is so he can have enough oil.
Enough vegetable oil to run his own empire. He had an agricultural thing.
Yeah.
And all the tractors ran on biodiesel.
In his house. It was pretty cool. He built everything on his own. He was a cool guy, and we wrote the song "The Depot" when we were in the depot.
The depot in Shenandoah.
And it was one of the places we really liked playing early on because he was awesome, and he would give us steaks and decent money for back in the day, and it was just a great time, and people were really cool. And he just stopped having music because of that. Yeah, it's not fucking worth it. I add music because it's fun.
Yeah.
Not for money.
Yeah, I run this for oil, not for art.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just went to being a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I mean, think about the world in which you would get fined so much money for one cover, in the world where every street you walk down, you're literally in a pool of copyright infringement.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody's getting paid. It's crazy, and I mean there is no solution. It's weird. I was trying to think about...
There are solutions. It's just nobody's going to like them.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing that I had the most about this entire Spotify thing, and that's the one thing that really drives me nuts, is that...
Curated playlists?
Well, not even that. Because, listen, fuck it. I told you, as long as... People don't understand it. As long as, I was on it for a while, because I was trying to explain to people how they decide who gets played, because almost all plays go from their playlists.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like 90 or 7%. And we get 0% from it.
So yeah, we are on no Spotify playlists.
We are on 15,000
user playlists.
But we're on no Spotify playlists. And
it's one serious Spotify playlist gets you to tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, you can get easily, if you see jazz musicians that are on, you see 30,000 plays.
If you go to a fusion Spotify playlist, you will never find us.
Yeah, but we saw people that are almost unknown with 50,000, 100,000 listeners a month, and we saw people that are famous that I'm not going to name with 1,000.
Yeah,
and it's just because.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because but again, it's a known thing. But 90% or something of traffic in Spotify goes through their own curated plays. But no, that's not what drives me nuts. A lot of things about drive me nuts. Spotify, obviously, the fact that the idiots that we deal with, that we ask, we talk to them about stuff like that. On Spotify, they make more money than us. Stuff like that drive me nuts. This stupid bitch that finished marketing in undergrad in some stupid university. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's talking to me, and it's trying to explain to me. It's oh, yeah, you should
grow your local following.
You should grow your local following. It's saying words of what, bitch, what are you talking about? I remember I asked this lady. I was like, are you even a person? I was like, are you a person? Do you play? What do you do? I try to ask her questions about to understand what she thinks she knows. And she freaked out so much that somebody else had to write me. And it's you can't ask questions to your representatives.
About their playing.
About stuff like that. And I was like, well, I just trying to understand if this lady knows what music is. Because it doesn't seem like she understands what music is. And it's and I don't want to say I was polite because I wasn't. But I also didn't curse or anything, right?
Right.
I was polite enough. Compared to what she told me,
it's what Bill Burr said. They're just trying to get you to say cunt so they can hang up.
I don't have to listen to this. But with that, I was I did something that, again, it's not like I was threatening, it's not like I was saying, I was just, my mind was blown. Like, whatever she did, I didn't do as bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, she talked to me, I didn't talk to her as badly. And, no, but the thing that does me nuts about it is that this company that made no money, right? Because, well, made a lot of money, but the company that keeps losing money, everybody there is getting paid every month,
Sure.
right? And if the company is gonna get bankrupt because it's just not worth it, because it's not gonna work like if we work, right?
Right.
Like scalable, and we're like, oh, this company is stupid. Why do we have this company?
Right.
And when it's like, it gets bankrupt. They're all
The people there still made 700 grand.
They all made all that money, A, and B, they can find a new job easily because they have all this experience working with Spotify.
Yeah.
So it's like the only people
and nobody, when they interview them, would be like, so what happened to the company you worked for? Did they? It's like, so you worked for a company that went bankrupt?
Yeah.
It's like, that's
we can't hire
it's like,
you.
no, but I did my job really well.
And that's where it goes, though. But that's exactly how it goes. And that was, you know, and by the end of it, if it goes out of business, God willing, then it's what's going to happen is that music is going to already be fucked because everybody's used to stream it for free. But those people are going to get just new jobs. Like it never happened. That's how it's going to be like it never happened.
Yeah.
That's the thing that drives me nuts. Like the amount of, like, those people could not give two shits about how it ends.
Yeah.
Like the story ends. It's like for us, it's such a big difference, but for them, it's like, who cares?
Yeah,
It's
they're
like,
just tech people or marketing people.
I'm gonna go and manage like a child labor mine in Africa or in fucking China or something. Do slave labor in China, be the CEO there. You know what I mean? It's like we don't care. We don't care what happens.
No.
It's like we just make something that will kill octopuses. So it's just. We're just throwing the bitch, like rollerblades, like a Bill Bear joke. Well, we're rollerblades and all that stuff ends
You're
up in
eating
the
your
fish.
own. You're eating your own rollerblades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Another topic, we did Dani really came up with the best narrative in the world. We call it trashtacus.
But what are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, the thought was really this, because we see...
That's also has to do with music.
It has a lot to do with music. You see homeless people now everywhere. We're very sensitive to it. We hear a lot of people podcasting and talking from their nice studios and country clubs, and we go out and play. I really feel like we're connected to something.
No, what people don't get is that if you live in a city, you don't understand, even if it's a city with a lot of homeless people, you don't understand the scope of a issue until you do what we do, which is
go to many cities
and hang out.
And hang out, yeah. Just
go. Because we can't be at home.
Yeah, there's no home to be in. We don't belong to any country club, so we go.
We don't know which neighborhoods we shouldn't go to.
Exactly. So we just go drive around.
Like, who has the best coffee?
Yeah, just look for coffee, look for a place to eat, and by the time you're done with the day, you've seen a few neighborhoods and a chunk of the city, and then you do repeat that process. So we get to see what's out there, and. We've talked about Fresno and LA and San Francisco and even Austin now, just the squalor, the amount of squalor, the amount of people who have fallen to nothing and are camping full time now. And what the idea was this, for those of you who are big history buffs or watch great, what's the name of that network? Stars shows like Spartacus. Know that they're in the Roman Empire, the gladiators and slaves united under Spartacus to rebel against the Romans.
The Bibles, Samson.
Yeah, Samson did the same thing. So the question is, could there be a person...
No, not Samson, Bar Kokhba.
Bar Kokhba, yeah. So could there be a person that, we call him trashtacus, that unites all the homeless people. I am trashtacus. And starts an army of homeless that just follows him and they're like berserk.
And just take it back.
Take it back, that's right. So, and a lot of them are on meth, so even the normal army can't fight them because they're awake for 72-hour stretches at least.
You can't fight something like that. No, well, you can fight something like that with an army, but I'm saying it's not that easy to fight if 5,000 people just storm a mall.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get the National Guard, and
of
even
course.
that's going to be tough. I'm saying it's a lot of people. 5,000 people
You can't fight
without
people.
fighting.
You can't fight with rubber bullets. People who bite. But yeah, it was just the thought. But I had the perfect slogan for it. It's change is coming.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, it's just, someone will have them up. I don't see how nobody done it yet.
Yeah.
Like I feel like somebody will do it. I really do. I'm not saying to start an army that starts fighting. I'm just saying to have them up as some sort of force. You know.
Yeah.
Like marching on something. You know, marching on City Hall.
Yeah.
Something. It's like there is no way. There's just too many of them now.
Yeah. That's funny. I also remember
the first thing I remember moving to the States, and I was like, oh, you can just camp.
Yeah.
Like, you're not homeless.
You're saying you should have been the leader. You're ahead of the movement. 5 years ahead.
Yeah, I was like, Eddie Murphy joke. It's so bad now, but one thing that I had to say, and I liked it like this. I was like, but he was talking about when homeless people see people camping, and they're like, you think it's a fucking game?
That's pretty good. Dude, I just remember, like, at this tour, we got invited by this lady that heard me and Dani do a duo thing to go to her podcast, and she was like super hungover, and it was me, Dani, and John, and the three of us were like talking, and she was her whole thing was that like her podcast is like gets really raunchy and deep, and you know we just started like doing some real talking. And then we just started making some Jewish jokes, like, Jews are like that with money. And then she like, she's not Jewish, and she just goes in, like, to kind of, like, vibe with us on ride this Jew thing. It's like, so, like, what they say about you guys, like, run the media in the whole world and, like, are really stingy with money. And we're like, whoa, lady. You're going too deep. Yeah. It's so funny, like, I have like a great tolerance to hear all the Jew jokes.
I like my favorite part. Was she asked us why Dani told her that her Instagram got cancelled. Yeah. And I said, yeah, you do blackface once. And it's like the world is over.
That was a great joke.
And she was like, what? You did blackface? You can't do it. I was like, I did not do that.
Yeah, we're joking.
That was a joke.
Yeah, I wanted to tell them that people thought Everett was in blackface and we got canceled.
Yeah, but yeah, no. I feel like even joking about it can get me in trouble. That's how I feel.
Well, they'll just slice this portion and be like, Dani loves blackface.
Yeah, Dani did blackface.
Yeah. It's not. We
I'm not supposed to have this technology now where they can just take your voice and make you say whatever they want.
Yeah, it's called a deep fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean...
deep states?
Yeah, nobody cares about you that much, unfortunately.
Not me, I'm saying other people.
Yeah, they can do that. The powers that be. Yeah, but then in that podcast, she started asking, like, raunchy questions. And then she asked me this one question, which was, what is something that you think you know a lot about, but actually know very little about? And I couldn't answer her. But then after it, John told me that he thinks that I should have said playing Latin music and playing Latin groups.
That's not how he said it, though.
How did he say it?
I'm trying to remember because he said, she said something like that, like, when she asks you about what you think you know a lot.
Oh, right.
But you don't really know a lot about, like, I thought about something, like Latin groups.
Right.
Playing Latin music. And then I was thinking, yeah, both of us, me and Dani, were like, yeah, you don't know anything about it, but you think you know about it.
Right. And then
that's a perfect example. That's a perfect example. So we're like, yeah, you're right. That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
And then John was like, no, you don't know anything.
Okay, we gotta clear there what we're talking about. We have a song called Dirty Horse. And it has a melody. The second part of it goes right, that kind of like groove. And John playing out, and there's like a groove. And they're supposed like there's a clave, all this shit. I don't know how their music works. Honestly, I don't know if it's racist to say. I don't care how their music works. I just don't. I don't listen to salsa. I don't listen to boom bao, tum tao, babao, cha chow, cacao. None of that. I don't know anything about it. I just play, I comp. I play the chords in time, I listen to the groove, and I put the notes where I think they sound good, right? I am not trying to facilitate a cha-cha dance for, I don't even know what people are supposed to be dancing. You understand? Like, I know salsa is in Mexico. That's it. I don't, cha-cha? Where's cha-cha from? Am I offending an Ecuadorian? I don't know. I don't know anything about this music. I don't care. I'm not playing traditional music.
I think in Chile.
Anyway,
Chile
we had this conversation. Now, John went to music college, and they had a class of Latin grooves, I'm guessing, and they told him things.
That's a Latin ensemble.
Yeah, like but they probably told him, like, if you ever flip the clave, the cartel's going to get you.
No, but like, no, I know I was sick. Well, I don't have a lot of experience in school. I do know how they talk, and we say something like, that's how white people play it.
Listen, white devil, you flip the clave, you're done. You're done, hombre.
Like, immediately everybody will know
that you're white. Yeah. That you're a little white Jew.
You don't know what you're doing. So,
but I remember when we were trying to figure out what to play, and he was like talking like from his like pedestal.
I almost lost my shit because I kept saying, okay, so who are the best people?
Yeah.
So let's listen to a song. What should we listen to?
Yeah, and he couldn't name one band
or one song. I was like, let's listen to one thing. What's the best thing? What should we hear? It's like if you ask me. I tried to explain to you what swing is, and you're like, hey, can you give me an example of a swing artist? And I was like, I don't know, man, it's just the swing. I don't swing,
Play Swing Station.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, I learned swing in school. They told me, and then I come and explain to you how to play it. And I can't name one swing artist. Would you be like, this guy really knows jazz? Oh, look at this guy, he really learned it.
He was so absorbed in his studies, he didn't have time.
Yeah.
To listen to the music.
Yeah, so I was really losing my shit originally. This time around, I just joined John and we gave Dani shit for not knowing Latin music.
It was funny this time.
But it was just weird because Dani doesn't think he knows it. That's why it was a bad example.
Of course I don't know it. I don't know anything about it. We actually listened to a thing explaining claves after, and there's like sound clave and rumba clave, and we figured out what the patterns are. You know, clang, 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 or clang, 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 clang. Okay, so there are these two things. I guess I can kind of hear it when some people are playing it pretty clearly. But I don't know. It's like you have to keep the clave, or people will not know how to dance. To a dirty horse?
Yeah.
Joke's on us. They're not dancing anyway.
Well, I used to listen to stuff just to check out what horn players do, and discovered they do the same shit.
I don't know.
Saxophone is just the same. It's like they on tabla or whatever, we just play the same shit. You know what I mean? It's like it's harmonically maybe sometimes a little bit different, but rhythmically, it's like you just play lines. It's not like you're playing tan 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 ti po po pi da to ti te.
I mean, I guess there's a thing like Montunos, and I was looking like those things a piano player. I guess some guitar players kind of figured out how to do that, and that's supposed to lock.
Yeah. It does lock.
Yeah, I just,
But this is also.
But the funniest thing was when we talked to Everett about it.
It's like, I don't know.
He's like, I don't know.
No, because John told Dani, it's like, you don't know what you're doing, but me and Everett are locked. We know exactly what we're doing. We're playing the authentic way that you should be playing it. It's like, you don't know what you're doing, but we definitely know what to do.
Yeah.
So
I chopped the carne asada, Everett warms the tortillas.
Yes, I asked Everett about it, like very like a childlike, like probably Everett was like, why is Dani asking about it? Because I was like trying to be naive, like, oh sir, what clave do you like? We want to get better, sir. Yeah. What do you do? What should we look at?
Is it son clave or rumbe clave? Yeah. Is it 2-3 or 3-2?
Yeah, and everyone was like, I don't know, man. I don't know this music very well.
Yeah, I just do. I play a groove.
Yeah, I probably should look more into it.
Now, I don't know if John will get so far in the episode, but this is the thing that triggers John the most. I've never seen anything that makes John more upset than talking about Latin music and treating it as if we're all on the same level.
Also talking about why recycling is a waste of time.
Recycling is a waste of time. But yeah, that's just religion. I just don't see. I mean, I can see how the 3 R's are a big part of his religion.
Recycling, record Marbin albums. That's the third one. Ruminate.
Ruminate about Latin music. But yeah, the Latin thing, it just drives him nuts. It really drives him nuts because he can't accept that we both don't know it, which is my point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because he feels like he knows it a little bit more than you.
Yeah.
Which he does.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah, which he does.
He does.
But just a little bit.
Yeah, not enough to like tell me what I should do or anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like I play the groove like I play the other grooves. I don't know funk.
It's
you
like
know what I mean?
I start arguing with you how much more jiu-jitsu I know than you. And I actually know more jiu-jitsu than you when he knows Latin music than you. But how silly it is if like a white belt that did it for 6 months will be like, no, I know jiu-jitsu.
Right.
I'll explain it. No, you guys don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't know either. That's the point that we're trying to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
There's a lot of levels of not knowing it. We're both there, but you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just 2 steps in. That's the only thing it is.
Well, the thing is that I don't know it a little more than him, but I don't care a lot more. It's just like I never liked that music. It's like, you know, because if I liked it, I'd know it. That's how I always think. It's like, yeah, like in a world where I care about
And also the
salsa,
song sounds
I'd play
good.
salsa. Yeah, the song sounds killer.
We also had some people that are really into that kind of music, and they didn't complain to me about that.
No.
They actually liked it.
They're like, what kind of dance is this? I moved my left foot 3 times, not 2, just so you know. Maybe next time fix it. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's like people are there to hear us shred and approximate grooves. I mean, but
Like, if a groove sounds good, then who cares? That's what I'm thinking.
yeah.
It's like this makes no. You don't do. It's not like when we play swing. We're like, oh no, this is swing, Everett. Don't ever
play on
anything
4.
that's not. Yeah, it's
Right.
it's just you. It needs to sound good. If you know enough music,
Right.
you can make something sound good. If it didn't sound good, we wouldn't have used this groove. We
God,
would be
that-
like, yeah, that's a bad. We don't know enough. That's a bad thing.
That felt so satisfying right now. Just talking about it, I feel like I really needed to air out. I feel light. I feel like this needed to come out.
Are you
And
expecting
now,
a phone call from him?
yes, and I feel like now we all can admit that nobody in Marbin knows anything about Latin music.
All right, John, can you just talk to Dani, bro?
And-
If you call, just bitch at Dani for it.
No, you see, this always happens. We both talk, and I'm the asshole. Every relationship, 100% of the time, it's not fair.
Maybe that's not how it's. People don't judge it like that. Maybe you're looking at the wrong tools. That's the way I'm telling you, John. Just talk to Dani. I don't know what he wants.
It always happens. All right, we're going to.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, we're going to say enough and go back on the road. We have a few more shows this run. If you are listening to this, it's Friday, and we're playing Reggie's in Chicago tonight, and tomorrow we're playing Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah, hey, Christian. We get
yes.
all the spam emails like your subscription for $340 have been renewed.
Norton Commander.
Like
yeah.
all that stuff. It's like, who falls for this?
I don't know. Our subscription for our McAfee
Yeah.
antivirus. McAfee.
McAfee.
Anyways,
Don't like how nobody talks about it.
it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane.
It's like, yeah, I guess the CIA just kills people.
Yeah. That's
American citizens.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, they don't talk about this. They don't talk about federalizing the police.
We started to now, but
I can't get off that train. Oh my
yeah.
god.
We're
Anyways,
not talk about that here. But
no.
Yeah.
All right, guys
And girls,
and girls.
and in between, and
Yeah.
also. It doesn't
We
have to
don't
be
care.
In between, it can be different.
All of them.
Different directions.
Whatever you are, and you don't have to be you. I actually no, never mind. This is the end. We're going subscribe to this podcast. Check us out at facebook.com/MarbinMusic.
Yeah, if you really want. How can you not subscribe to
MarbinMusic.bandcamp.com.
this podcast after this episode? If you want us starting slow, talking about homeless. What
Yeah.
else you talk about?
That's where the best
Giving John shit.
Yeah.
Talking about tonguing.
This is the most
Yeah,
interesting
if
episode
you-
up to date. That's what you're trying to say.
I'm just saying, how can you not subscribe already after 41 episodes of it?
I don't know. I think
It's
you can't get enough.
It's the podcast that keeps on giving.
That's right. All right, guys. See you next time.